Hi everyone, welcome back. From Napoleon's frozen march into Russia to Hitler's doomed Eastern Front, history is filled with blunders so big they didn't just lose battles, they reshaped entire continents. Welcome to today's video where we'll uncover the greatest military blunders in history. Decisions so disastrous they didn't just end wars, they redrew the world map. First up, Napoleon's invasion of Russia in 1812. Napoleon marched into Russia with over 600,000 troops, but he underestimated two: the brutal Russian winter and the scorched earth strategy adopted by the Russians. As Napoleon advanced, Russian forces retreated, burning villages and destroying supplies. By the time Napoleon's Grande reached Moscow, it was October and the city was a smoldering ruin. Napoleon stayed for 5 weeks, but finding no peace, he retreated. But it was too late. Of the 600,000 men who entered Russia, fewer than 100,000 soldiers now limped back across the Berezina River. The French Empire, already weakened by years of war, never recovered. The Russian campaign was a decisive turning point in the Napoleonic Wars, and while Napoleon would continue to fight on for another 4 years, his defeat at the hands of a rejuvenated Russia, coupled with the emergence of new coalitions against him, would eventually lead to his downfall at Waterloo in 1815. The invasion not only ended Napoleon's reign, but also reshaped Europe's balance of power. Russia, Austria, Prussia, and Britain redrew the continent's map with the Congress of Vienna, which aimed to restore the balance of power and prevent future French aggression. But this isn't the only time an army met its match. In 1854, during the Crimean War, Britain and France went to war against Russia over control of the Holy Land. The British commander ordered an assault on Russia's main defensive line at the Battle of Balaclava. One of the units involved was the Light Brigade, a group of elite cavalrymen tasked with a critical mission. Their orders: ride through the open field to engage the enemy. But there was a critical detail in the order that got lost in the communication, and it changed everything. The Light Brigade charged into the valley, unaware that it was a trap. The Russian guns were concealed, and the Light Brigade became sitting ducks. Nearly half of the brigade was wiped out in a matter of minutes. It was a devastating loss, a testament to the brutality of war and the cost of miscommunication. The charge of the Light Brigade remains one of the most famous military blunders of all time. Tennyson's poem immortalized the bravery of the soldiers who charged into the valley knowing their fate. But it also stands as a stark reminder of the human cost of miscommunication and the importance of clear orders in the heat of battle. But none compared to Hitler's invasion of the Soviet Union, Operation Barbarossa, launched in 1941. Hitler broke his non-aggression pact with Stalin and launched a massive invasion of the Soviet Union. He believed it would be a quick victory, but he severely underestimated the vastness of the Soviet Union and the strength of its people. Like Napoleon, Hitler's army faced the harsh Russian winter without proper equipment and supplies. They pushed on, but the advance quickly turned into a nightmare. Soldiers froze, vehicles broke down, and supplies dwindled. But still, Hitler refused to retreat. By 1945, the Eastern Front had become a graveyard for Germany's war machine. Millions of soldiers lay buried in the Soviet soil, victims of a war of aggression that had taken a terrible turn. The Eastern Front's toll on Germany's manpower and resources was staggering. Entire factories were moved from the west to the east to support the war effort, but it wasn't enough. By 1945, when Germany finally began to pull out of the Soviet Union, it was too late. The damage was done. The Eastern Front had been a decisive factor in Germany's defeat, draining the country's resources and splitting the nation. Hitler's invasion of the Soviet Union was one of the greatest military blunders in history. It transformed a potential German victory in World War II into an unmitigated disaster. But these blunders weren't just accidents. In many cases, they were fueled by the same overconfidence that led to their downfall. Napoleon believed he was invincible. British commanders assumed their cavalry was superior to Russian artillery. Hitler thought the Soviet Union would crumble before his mighty war machine. The hidden truth: more empires have been brought down by hubris and miscalculation than by enemy strength alone. In the end, these military blunders stand as stark reminders of the fragility of even the mightiest empires. A single miscalculation, a moment of arrogance, or a failure of communication can change the course of history. These stories aren't just about battles lost. They're about empires that crumbled because they forgot one crucial lesson. Even the greatest power can fall to the simplest mistake. So, what do you think? Was Napoleon's march into Russia the greatest blunder of all time, or did Hitler's Operation Barbarossa take that crown? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden lessons of history. See you next time.